Check your headphones there now that everything is tickety-boo. Just do one more sound check with Chris.
Just
Sound check with Chris.
sound check for us.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Okay. Now, to see, his eyes are going to follow you. So what you should do is get yourself a chair and sit in between those two.
I wanna get him to look over here.
Oh, okay. Sound. All right. Okay. And do the 10 seconds of a
Silence.
wild track. Okay, so wild track now. Okay, wild track now. What is that noise?
That's the
Okay, stop.
digger, you know.
Okay, that's as good as you're going to get. All right? Right, lads. Away you go. Keep an eye on your watch, okay?
Can you tell me how the fire started?
You introduce me first.
No. See, I'm gonna do the intro.
Oh, all right,
Start
sorry.
now.
Okay. Give it 10 seconds again now.
No, 10 seconds have already been.
All right.
Right. Can you tell me how the fire started?
Well, Aaron, it was on a cold November's night in 2014. It was extremely cold at night, and I came back to the house about 9:30, and I decided to put down a fire. I was watching the X Factor on the telly, and I put a few bits of sticks and briquettes and a fire lighter into the stove, and it failed to ignite. So I just spotted, I had bought some petrol for my lawnmower, and I spotted it in the hallway. So I decided to throw a little drop of petrol on the fire, which is a bad idea, of course. But anyway, I removed the can of petrol from the stove, about a metre from the stove, and when the fire did actually light up, the vapour caught fire, and the fire spread from the stove to the can. So I tried to retrieve the can of petrol and throw it outside, but in the process, I must have spilt some petrol on the ground, and I slipped on the floor in the kitchen, and suddenly I went up on fire, and I was standing there wondering what to do. So the first thing that came to my mind was to get this fire out. So I ran out to the bathroom, where I turned on the tap in the sink, and I had a big sponge, and I threw loads of water on my back. It was basically my back and legs that were on fire. So eventually I did manage to get the fire out, but I was down on my knees. I was nearly gone. So when I recovered from that, I went back into the kitchen to look at the situation. I was very afraid that the can of petrol might explode, so I decided there and then to leave the house. And I left. I was afraid of fumes as well, and being overtaken by the fire fumes. I knew that could have been a problem, so I decided to leave the house at that stage.
What happened then?
Well, I went into the garage. I knew I had fire extinguishers in the garage, so I got 2 or 3 fire extinguishers I had, and I went outside the house, and I actually smashed the kitchen window. I was afraid to go into the house, and I trained the fire extinguishers on the fire, but it was to no avail. So then I decided I'd ring the fire brigade, and I rang them, but they were unsure of where my house was, where it was located. So I then decided to run out to my neighbour, and he came on the scene with a fire extinguisher as well, and he rang the fire brigade, and with great difficulty they realised where we lived, and I told them it was near Nolan's garage in Caldera, Newton Forbes, so they then realised the area we're speaking about.
Did you go to hospital?
Well, initially now I would have been treated by the ambulance crew Well, first of all, I was treated by the fire brigade. They put on some old heavy grease on my burns, and then eventually the ambulance arrived on the scene. Now, it gets very vague from there on. I remember being walking into the ambulance, and I remember kind of waking up in Mullingar Hospital for a brief moment, and then a couple of days later, that was on a Sunday night, and then I remember waking up on a Wednesday morning. So a lot of that is vague. I was under heavy duty anaesthetics and things like, you know.
When you got to the hospital, how did you feel?
Well, I was out, you know, I was kind of out of it, Aaron. Like, I didn't wake up for about 3 days, you know. They would have done all their surgery on me, plastic surgery on me, on the Tuesday, you know. So I basically didn't know what was happening for a few days, like from Sunday, early Monday morning to early Wednesday morning, like, you know.
And how did you recover?
Well, actually, I was very bad at the time of my injury. I was kind of helpless, and I had to be helped to the toilet and helped to walk and everything initially. But after a few weeks, I was getting a bit of strength back into me, and they gave me a walking frame, and I was learning to walk again, even very roughly. But anyway, once I got started to walk again with this walking frame, I found very confident, and I started walking without it then. So after a few weeks, 3 weeks anyway, I was able to walk. Now, I was walking very badly, like it wouldn't have been a proper type of walk, but I was delighted that I was on the way to recovery, and the doctor, the surgeon, like, he was amazed with my recovery. He said I was recovering very fast, and he couldn't understand it. He said I was weeks ahead of schedule. So I was delighted to hear that.
What's your status of your health now? Are you fully recovered from when it happened?
Well, I'll always have the scars, Aaron, but I made tremendous progress, and I went up for checkups in the meantime, like a 6-month checkup, and the nurse said that she couldn't believe how well I'd improved, and that people that got burns, like I got 45% burns to my body, and she reckoned that anyone with those sort of burns would still be in hospital, and I was running around the place at this stage, you know, and I was recovering well. Like, I wasn't fully recovered now, but I was recovering very well.
And, how has this experience changed your life?
Well, it gave me a totally new viewpoint of life. Like, you know, I felt people, I saw the goodness in people. People were very good to me and wished me well, and my family especially were very good to me, and they visited me on a very regular basis. And one sister visited every day, so they were very, very good to me, and I appreciate that. And a lot of people, I didn't believe though they were concerned, but a lot of people showed concern for me and wished me well, so I was very happy with their response, and it just opened my mind that there are good people out there, like, and you know yourself, like, you know, you think no one cares, but when something happens to you, it's great to know that people do care, like. So thanks be to God, I'm on the way to recover and making a very good recovery now, and save this for the scars. I'm nearly 100% back to where I was before the accident.
Thank you, Chris.
And thank you, Aaron.